Wisdom of Solomon. Yep. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, we're just gonna go right into it. As we titled it, God's immortal bodies. So, matter of fact, let's actually start with Psalm 82 and 6, I believe. All right, because and also we could get Jude after that. Because ultimately, this is sort of like in the same spirit of the video that I did. I think it was on Friday, which is yesterday, going into We Are No Ordinary Men. All right, because although we're all in bodies, you got to understand that it's the spirit. The spirit is the actual essence, of an individual. You got the spirit and you got the soul, which is like the mind of the spirit, right? This brother and I, we both got spirits, but he has a different taste in things than I do. He moves differently than I do. He has different opinions than I do because he has a different soul. But at the end of the day, it's about the spirit, and so being spiritual men, we're able to recognize that. Being spiritual men, we're able to realize that, you got to look past the flesh. A lot of people get caught up on looking at the flesh, and that's why the Lord said, judge not according to the outward appearance, because the outward appearance can be deceiving. As a matter of fact, getting into the whole topic of Israelite foreigners, it's the key to understanding the mystery of the Gentiles is in the spirit. All right, is in trying the spirit by the spirit, and is in not looking at the outward appearance. Because you're going to have Israelites that look like other nations, but they have the spirit of an Israelite. So that, going into that, on that same kind of topic, you have certain men and women, all right, and children on the planet Earth today that have a different kind of spirit than the rest of the world. And that has been preordained and put into them from the foundation of the world. So you got it.
This is Psalms 82 and 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
So why did the Most High say that we are gods? Because he made us to be gods. Matter of fact, can you pause there and get Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, and around the 23rd verse? The scriptures say that the Most High created us to be immortal. I have said, so the Most High said we are gods because we are intended to be gods on earth. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, we're above all people. Why is that? Because the Spirit of the Lord is put within us. Israel, Yasharallah, is he, prince of the power. Yah, he, Shar is prince, Hebrew for prince, and Allah means power or God. So we are princes of the power, sons of God. That means that what? By nature, we are gods.
This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, verse 23. For the Most High created man to be immortal.
So the Most High, and when it says man, is dealing with the Israelite man. So when we get to the kingdom and everything gets set back in its right order, guess what? We're gonna go back to the state the Most High created us to be in, and that's to be perfect, right? So the Most High created man to be immortal. Now, how did man lose immortality? Through sin, because the scriptures tell you that through sin, death entered into the world, and it's even going to tell you that in this verse. All right, but the wages of sin is death. So the way we die is through sinning. But if we don't sin, we're what? Immortal. Go ahead.
And made him to be an image of his own eternity.
Right, an image of his own eternity. So we were made in the likeness of the powers. We're made in the likeness of the Most High and his son. That means the Most High is a dark-skinned man, and so is his son, and so are the angels. They're melanated people, or melanated beings. Go on.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death.
As a matter of fact, the having the light or white skin, the lepers, the clean lepers, that came by way of a curse. Okay, that came by way of a curse. Everybody was melanated up until Cain when he got cursed. So when it says let us make man in our own image, right, and in our own likeness, why is it that we were all brown skinned? That shows you the likeness of the Most High and His Son. But yeah, you can read that again.
Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world.
So we were made to be immortal, but through envy of the devil, right, came what?
Death into the world.
So what did the envy of the devil, how did that lead to death in the world? Well, what did the devil do? And the devil wasn't talking about Satan. The devil was talking about a slick, subtle, sly, cunning individual. And so the devil in the garden wasn't actually Satan, but it was really the spirit of an Edomite over there in the garden. And through their envy of us, he deceived us, starting with Eve, and then Adam, and caused us to go off. Okay, caused us to go into the left-hand side, and that's what brought death into the world. Okay? Because the Lord said, the day that you eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, in that day you're gonna die. And it wasn't talking about the 24-hour period, it was talking about within that same 1,000 years. Because a day to the Lord is 1,000 years. You got it?
It wasn't an actual serpent either.
Right.
It was the individual with the it was an individual group of people.
It was that serpent was an individual.
Well,
He came from a group of people.
Yeah, but he had the characteristics of a serpent.
Right.
Sly, cunning,
Low key, slick, you know. That's why the scriptures talk about being wise as serpent. So because see, the Most High had given us a commandment, so that serpent had to have been real wise in the arts of deception in order to be able to convince, you know. Of course, with the addition of Eve being simple and the weaker vessel. All right. So now let's go back to Psalms 82 and 6.
Psalms 82 and 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
So now, of course, though we're in these mortal bodies and though we still die, it doesn't change the fact that we're still gods. Okay, because the spirit within us is the spirit of gods. There's just the only change that happened is our outward mortal bodies. You know, the spirit within us, because when the Lord delivers the elect, what is He really going to do when He changes our bodies? That's exactly what He's going to change, our bodies. Okay, but it's our spirit that's going to be taken from these mortal bodies and put into these immortal bodies, the new bodies that we're going to get. So our spirits are still that of God's. We're just trapped in these chains of darkness, as it says in the book of Jude. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find. I think it's Jude, the first chapter, probably 1 and 7 or so. Let me see, and then we can let's see. But as it says, ye shall die like men. Why? Because we sin. Okay. So it says, let me find the scripture. All right, the book of Jude. Yep, there's only one chapter in here anyway. Yeah, Jude 1 and 6.
This read it.
Yeah.
This is Jude 1 and 6. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, He hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
Right. So now the angels are referring on to us, okay, as Israelites, because at the end of the day, an angel is a messenger, okay, and we are messengers, but we are also angels. And as it says, because how do you know that? When the angel came down to John, and John bowed down, he said, don't do that, because I'm your fellow brother who have the testimony of Yahushua. So if the angels are our brothers, that makes us also angels. But as it says, the angels which what? Kept not their first estate. And our first estate was what? Perfection, immortality. But we didn't keep that by going off, okay, by sinning. And then what does it say? He reserved us in these chains of darkness. That's a dark saying.
Everlasting chains.
Everlasting chains. That's a dark saying for these mortal bodies, okay? These mortal bodies, and the reason they're chains of darkness is because these bodies are corrupt. So as the Apostle Paul said, matter of fact, let's see if we can find that.
Subject to vanity.
Yep, the creature, that's, yeah, matter of fact, yeah, go to that. Romans the 8th chapter. And it says, onto the judgment of the great day, because at the judgment of the great day is when the elect, starting with the elect, we're gonna be broken free from these chains of darkness. Yahweh Shai is going to come and he's going to break us out of these chains of darkness. And the rest of the wicked Israelites, they're going to be destroyed in these chains of darkness. But when they come in the kingdom, they're also going to be broken out of those chains of darkness. So our breaking is going to come by salvation, and their breaking is going to come by destruction. Aiden, around the 20, either 20 or 18 verse, around there. They'll say the creature not willing.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, there you go. So you can read it.
Romans 8 and 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope.
Right, so we were made subject to vanity because we were made, when you're subject to something, that means that it has power over you to an extent. Like if we say we're subject to payments, that means that we can't escape those payments, right? So when we are made subject to vanity, that means we can't escape that vanity. We can't escape that sin, not willingly, because we didn't want to go off. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for the precept now, as the Apostle Paul goes into it. We didn't want to go off, but the way the Lord made us, we couldn't avoid it. That's why we went off, because we weren't designed not to go off. Okay, and in the kingdom, our we're going to be designed not to go off. That's when we're going to have those the fleshly hearts, and that's going to be us being incapable of going off. So in the kingdom, we're no longer going to be subject to vanity. Okay, let me see if I can find it. I know it's in the book of Romans, where basically Paul says, I think it's Romans the 7th chapter, and we can start around the 14th verse. Romans 7. Yeah, Romans 7 and 14. Start there. Going to show you that we were made subject to sin, not willingly, but according to the will of the Most High, it had to be this way.
This is Romans 7 and 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Right, because Paul was also trapped in these chains of darkness. Go ahead.
For that which I do allow not. For what I would, that do I not.
Yeah, let me see that again. Read that again slowly. What verse is that? 15? 7:15?
Yeah.
For that which I do, I allow not, right? For what I would, that do I not. Meaning, what you're supposed to do, which is to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments to the perfection, you don't do that. An example is, you ain't supposed to light a fire on the Sabbath, but you might still light it anyway, not deliberately, but because you might forget. That's an example of doing something or going against something that you should do, right? There may be certain things that you have to do, but you don't do, not because you want to, but because we're in this flesh. Okay? Go on. So read verse 15 again. The way he says it, especially for these verses, where you break and where you pause, really brings out the meaning of it. So when you see the comma, give it a little pause.
For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not.
Right, so for what I would, what you're supposed to do, that do I not. Go ahead.
But what I hate, that do I.
Right, what I hate, that do I, which is the vanity. But why does he do it? Because he's subject, right? Romans the 8th chapter in the 20th verse. We're subject onto vanity. We were made subject onto vanity. So that which I hate, which is going off, that do I. Not willingly, but because I'm subject to it. Okay? That's why the scriptures talk about a righteous man falleth 7 times, but meaning a complete amount of times, but he gets back up. Because he is subject to going off, but his spirit is willing. That's why he keeps on getting back up. Saying that this is what I end up doing, but it's not what I want to do. So I'm going to keep getting back up as many times as I need to. I think there's a little bit more. Go on. You can start at I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man, but I see no wretched. Matter of fact, read throughout. Read to the end.
Verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then, it is no more. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me.
There you go. Why does sin dwell in the Apostle Paul? Because he was subject to the chains of darkness, just like we are. So when you boast in the law, when you push as if keeping the laws perfectly is going to get you saved, first off, even the Apostle Paul, on the level that the Lord had put him on, even he said that it was sin dwells in him, meaning he couldn't do the things he wanted to do because he was in the flesh. So it is physically impossible for us to keep all the laws, statutes, and commandments in the Bible as we are now. And that's why the scriptures say the Lord is going to make a new covenant with us for finding fault with us. The laws are perfect. We were the imperfect ones. So that's where that imbalance came about. So what's the Lord going to do? He's not going to make the laws imperfect to match us. He's going to make us perfect to match that in the kingdom. But as he says, but sin that dwelleth in me, going into this flesh. Go ahead.
For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing.
And that's why we're constantly warring against the flesh. Okay? We're constantly going back and forth against the flesh. So our flesh and our spirits are not necessarily in sync. That's why it's constantly a back and forth. When you have temptation, your flesh is telling you do this, your spirit is saying, no, I know I shouldn't do that. That's the temptation. Your flesh is trying to get your spirit to go off, to do something that it knows it's not supposed to do.
That's what I make say, bro. The flesh is the outwardly man. Okay? The inwardly man is the spirit. And right in that chapter in Romans 7:22, it says, for I delight in the law of Yahweh after the inward man. So we willfully want to be righteous. We want to keep these laws.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And that's the inwardly man, like it speaks of, like it says, for I delight in the law of Yahweh after the inwardly man.
Right.
The flesh is the outwardly man, and that makes it hard for us, but we still intend to try to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right?
Right.
So we do the best that we can, and we practice those righteous acts.
That's right. Beautiful point. Beautiful point. Yep. Good point. Good point. Go ahead.
Romans 7:18. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing.
You good? Oh. You trying to hear the word. That's
For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not.
And that's why Yahweh Shai said what? The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Meaning you want to do it, but in your flesh. All right. So as the Apostle Paul said, what was that, verse 18?
Yeah.
For I know that in me, that is in my flesh. Because when you look at somebody, there's more than one thing that you're looking at. You're looking at their body, but you also looking at their spirit. Okay. The body is the vehicle for the spirit. Okay. So as he says, for in me, meaning in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing, because it's the chains of darkness. That's why, Rebecca Shaw, real quick, could you get Jeremiah 17:9? That's an example as to the flesh, no good thing dwelling in the flesh, because the flesh is not bound, it's carnal. It's not subject to the laws of the Most High. The way our carnal bodies are designed, the reason they go off is because they don't have any restrictions on right and wrong. Your body, your flesh will not tell you what is right versus what is wrong. Your flesh will tell you what feels good versus what doesn't feel good. What alerts do you get from your flesh when you're hurt? Your body will tell you, yo, this, you better stop that, you know? Or when you're feeling good, your body will tell you, yeah, this thing feels good. And so you will desire that thing. Desire, these are all things mainly of the flesh, okay? But now you need to filter those through your spirit. You need to say, okay, this feels good, but the only way I'm gonna do it is if it checks with the flesh and it checks with the spirit. All right? Really the spirit first, because you want to subject your flesh under your spirit. So that means that if the flesh says, no, this doesn't feel good, but the spirit says, no, this is good, then you're gonna subject the flesh under the spirit and you're gonna do it. So you do what's right over what you feel. That's why we don't deal with emotions. We deal with what the scriptures say. Because the scriptures don't have room for your emotions. Your emotions are based on your flesh. And your flesh, as we're about to read, is desperately wicked. You know? So that's why people may get offended, because they're following their flesh. And if they act upon that offense instead of correcting their flesh and standing firm in the spirit, then they start to go off because they're following their emotions.
That's right.
You got it?
This is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
And the heart is deceitful, heart being the mind.
That's right. The mind of the flesh. Go ahead.
That's right. Above all things,
Mhm.
and desperately wicked.
Desperately wicked. When you're desperate, all right. When you're desperate, people will do the most crazy things out of what? Desperation. Meaning you're at the point where now you're willing to do something that you would not normally do because you need this thing. So the heart is desperately wicked, meaning it's at the point where it'll do whatever it can to fulfill its desires. That's a problem, okay? Because it's not checked.
And if I may say, last weekend I brought out the fact that even throughout prayer, while
Right.
you praying, your mind, you focused on praying to the Most High, and your mind might still wander. That's desperately seeking to do wicked. Like, you know, when you reaching out to the Lord, that's when Satan is at his highest point. And your mind is being troubled by Satan. So when it says your heart is desperately wicked above all, deceitful above all things, it's going to try to take you off your path of praying to the Most High.
Right.
Okay?
Right. That's right. Good point. Yeah. You gotta imagine it like basketball, right? Now, when you play in basketball, you got your court, and then you got the other opponent's court, and there's the net right there. When you go to pray, that's like trying to get your ball into the net, to the Most High. But you notice that as you start from your court, the opponents, they don't really come up to guard you unless they're real desperate. But when you cross that halfway point and you getting closer to getting your ball into their net, that's when they start getting up. They start guarding. You know, they trying to block you. They trying to, and then the closer
Full
you
court
get,
pressure, half court pressure.
there you go. And then when you get into the paint, that's when they all up on you. May have two people defending you. You know, they jumping all about. They trying to knock the ball out your hand. You know, you try to go up, they up. So what do you got to do? And this in the real life form is when you're praying, and you notice that when you're praying, that's when them thoughts start coming. And as you try to rebuke those thoughts, they try to come even more. That's you having the ball, and you pump faking, then they jumping, then they coming down. So now you gotta, what happened?
Dribble past them.
You try to dribble past them.
Then you score that and one, because you scored on Satan over praying over those thoughts.
That's it. That's it. You rebuke those. So when you rebuke those thoughts, that's either you crossed over a demon and broke his ankles, you know, or you just said, yo, F this shit, and you just dunked on him. That's a real strong rebuke. When them thoughts come into your mind, you just got to dunk on them. If that's how you got to imagine it, you just got to dunk on them.
Because, you know, y'all young brothers, y'all all into ball is life and all that, but look at it like that, because your heart is wicked, man. I mean, it's deceitful. Your mind is deceitful.
Right.
When you're trying to do the right thing, man,
Done.
you get all type of stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
Get to start praying and see what happens. What kind of thoughts come in your mind while you're praying. You like, did I just really think that while I'm praising the Most High? Like, no.
Yep. And you know it's demons because it's not individual to only you. We all know what you're talking about because it's happened to us. And it's demons. You can have a thought that you know is not your own. You know in your mind there's two thoughts in there that's not your own, because the thought of rebuke is yours. The other thought is a demon's thought. You know for a fact that there's a demon trying to mess with you, but they're still trying to mess with you. So you got to rebuke them. That's the only way. And the Most High knows. He understands. That's why it's a what? It's a constant fight. It's a constant battle.
That's right.
You know?
Quick testimony. Last night, when class was supposed to start at 7, and you had put up class gonna start at 7:15. Guess what, man? Between 6:50 and 6:59, Satan was kicking up in my household, like all type of unnecessary arguments over chores that I demanded my children to do, and it was just like an ongoing process. And I'm like, no, y'all not about to do this, and I'm about to start my class today. And I'm like, oh look, I see where Satan is going, and in the household is your biggest fight. You know, with your family is your biggest fight. And I just went in the room, closed my door, and I was like, I'll deal with y'all after class. Because I know this is Satan's attempt to try to stir my spirit in the wrong direction.
Right.
And right when I was thinking about like, yo, it's 6:58, class about to start. Let me get my mind right. You hit me with like, yo, bro, class gonna start at 7:15. So I had an extra few minutes to gather my thoughts and correct these kids over there. I had to rebuke them like, yo, you know what? Y'all don't even know what y'all doing right now. This is Satan's work. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with y'all after class.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, beautiful. And you know it's Satan because you could have it to the point where before class starts, they start acting up. You say, I'm gonna deal with you after class. And when you come back after class, they done the chores and everything is all good. Ain't no more problems.
Yeah.
And you
All
like,
good.
so you know that Satan, his goal was stop you from going to class. Once he felt at it, he just left them. You know, they'll do their own
Or
thing.
being late or anything.
Yeah.
Anything to disrupt the
Hinder
spirit.
you. Yep. That's why the Lord told Peter, Satan have desired to sift you, you know, but I have prayed that thy faith fail not. And we've been blessed. Why? Because we can detect when there's Satan is doing what is going on. And when we have that knowledge, we know how to move. You know that it's demons doing that. So you know what? I instead of me going back and forth with you, that's what Satan wants. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And then he's gonna lose anyway. You know? So it's a beautiful thing. But you read that?
Jeremiah,
You read that again. Yeah, read that
this is
again.
a beautiful script, bro. This precept is Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
There you go. Who can know? So knowing that we have a deceitful heart inside of our flesh, what does that mean? That means that we got to strengthen that inward man, like you mentioned, right? Because even as the Apostle Paul, with all the revelations and the spirit and the the ability that the Lord gave him, even he said it. Even he was subject to it, right? So carry on in that. Read, what was that, verse 18 you just read?
Yeah.
Read that again.
Romans 7:18. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing.
Right?
For to
Why?
will,
Why? Because it's desperately wicked. Go ahead.
for to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not.
That's why Yahushua said, for the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The will is present with me. I know and I want to do this, but to actually perform it is where the flesh hinders. Okay, go on.
For the good that I would do, for the good that I would do, I do not.
Right, the good that I would do, I do not. Go ahead.
But the evil which I would not, that I do.
There you go. Why? Because we are made subject unto vanity, as per the spirit and the will of the Lord. And that shows you the true fight. If you were made perfect and you're perfect now, you don't have to fight. Where is the true fight? The fight is in not being perfect, but fighting for perfection, striving for perfection. You know, you're constantly going, you keep falling, but you keep getting back up. You keep getting back up. That's the fight. And that shows the Lord, damn, whatever I throw at this guy, I push him. Imagine you got a child, right? And the child, you like, look, if you can get this cookie from my hand, I'm gonna give you the cookie. You know, and the child comes, you push him back. Then they come, you push him back. Then they come, you push him back. And now it's to the point, it's been 3 hours. And this child, and you push him, he falls all the way back, tumbles, and he still comes back. He's tired and he still comes back. He's crying and he still comes back. You know? And then he gets mad, and this time he coming with force. Then you're like, oh shit, I really gotta push this guy. And he's still coming. Now it's been 5 hours, and he's still coming back. Eventually you're gonna know, yeah, he ain't gonna give up. Now you like, damn, I gotta go to work. You know, hey, just take the cookie. You know? Because you know that he's pushing you, but he's not stronger than you, but he's still not stopping. That's what you're looking for. So you know that if I made this child strong enough, yeah, he would definitely take my ass over because he has the will. So that's the same thing. Now, we keep striving, and we know that striving right now isn't going to make us perfect right now, but the Lord is looking at our spirit, and he's like, yeah, if I gave them that perfect body, they would be complete because they got the will to do the right thing. The reason Paul wasn't perfect was because the flesh, he said what? The will to do what was right was within him, but because of his flesh, he couldn't perform it. So if the Lord made his flesh perfect, he would be perfect. And that's what the Lord is going to do. That's why right now he is purifying our minds. Because once the will is there, all he got to do is just give you that new body and you'll be good. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more
I.
it is no more I that I do it.
What verse you on? 20. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. So he's showing you that when you go off, it's not like if you go off, it's not necessarily your spirit that's saying I want to go off, so that's why I'm going off. You're going off because of sin that dwells in you, meaning you're subject to it. Let me give you an example. When it says you subject to payments, right? You're gonna pay the bills not because you want to give them money, but because you got to do it. So that means that when you subject to sin, you're gonna sin not because you want to sin, but because you're subject to it. So at some point it's gonna happen.
That's right. And the only one that was free of sin was the house.
7 and
All right.
20.
So every man, anybody who say that they saved and they free of sin because of the grace, they going off. Because you sinning just by when you wake up in the morning, you was born a sinner.
Right.
All right, through the birth, you was already predestined to be a sinful person. Only thing that you could do is just beg for repentance every day.
Yep.
All right, because even when you think you're not sinning, you sinning.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So that's just something that was just given to us through part of our judgment.
Yep. Yep. Change the darkness. Yeah, because you gotta, and this is why we greatly, we worship Yahushua and we greatly commend him, because do you know what it takes to be perfect on this earth? The scriptures say that a foolish thought is sin. So that means Yahushua didn't even have one wicked thought in his mind. Not once did he sin. Not once. To be perfect means not once at all did Yahushua sin or go off. There's certain laws that you don't even know exist, and you done broken them anyway. When a woman is on her menstrual or whatever, and you deal with her, or you touch, or you get anything that her her ooze has touched, if you touch that, it makes you unclean.
Let's see.
Exactly. You can sit on you can say, yeah, man, I'm doing everything I possibly can. What if you get on the bus and the woman that sat in the seat that you about to sit in, you don't know. She probably sat in it and leaked a little bit in there. You don't know. You don't see it. You come, you take a seat. I'm unclean. You don't know.
That's right. So
let me give you another one. I got you real quick.
Yeah.
The scriptures say that on the Sabbath, you're supposed to keep it holy, right? So you're not supposed to have sex on the Sabbath. Why? Because when you have sex, your seed of copulation, which is a sperm, leaves your body as a man, and that makes you unclean. So you ain't supposed to do that on the Sabbath day. Now, what happens when you have a wet dream? When you have a wet dream, you don't control that. So what happens if on the Sabbath you have a wet dream, your seed of copulation leaves you? You know what I'm saying? But the Lord would have to pardon that, right? Because in that essence, you're not willingly doing it, because that's not of you. That's not of your control. You were asleep. But it goes to show you that even as hard as you may try, it is impossible to keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly. Even if the men of old couldn't do it, it's impossible because the Lord has designed it that way. You got
you got brothers that claim that they got full 100% garments on, non-mixed garments, but who's to say that Elam ain't lied to you? Okay.
Right, mixed fabrics. Yep.
Yeah, mixed fabrics. So you got camps out here who say that they live the laws to the fullest, to 100%. And you don't even want to put yourself in that predicament, bro. Yep. That's being blasphemous.
You wouldn't need Yahushua. You wouldn't need Yahushua at that point, right? You'd be perfect. Why would you need? Didn't Yahushua say, "They that are whole need not a physician"? So if you keep it all perfectly, then you're whole. You don't need a physician. You don't need salvation. We need salvation, and we admit that. We admit that humbly and openly. We are not perfect. We need salvation. None of us are going to make it of our own will. We are literally out here in this form to beg Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua to have mercy on us. Because it's going to be by that mercy that, Lord willing, we can be delivered. Go on. And it shows you how that's why we're what? Prisoners of hope. Because if not for the hope in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, what do we really have? Physically, we don't have the kingdom, you know. Physically, we're just here. But we have the Spirit of the Lord. And that's what's keeping that hope and that faith alive. You got it?
Romans 8:20. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. If I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
When I would do good, evil is present with me. Why? Because you're still in the flesh. Go on.
For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man.
Right, like the bar read earlier. I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. So it's the spirit that delights in the law of the Most High, not your flesh. Your flesh doesn't like that, because your flesh says, yo, that woman is fine as hell. I could teach her a thing or two. But your spirit says, nigga, you crazy as hell. What's wrong with you? You know, that's another man's woman. So the scriptures tell you the flesh cannot be subject to the law of the Most High, you know, but the spirit can, you know. So that's why he delights. The spirit will delight after the law, but the flesh won't. Go ahead.
But I see another law in my members,
Which is his body,
warring against the law of my mind.
warring against the law of my mind. So what is the law of your body? do as you want. Do what feels good. That's why, and that's the law that these people follow. They follow the law. Huh? Desire, yeah. They're slaves to their desires. That's the law they follow. Do what feels good. Do what you want to do. Ain't nobody can tell me what to do. And that means they don't have discipline. They don't follow the Spirit of the Lord. That's why when you come and tell them, look, don't do that, you're going off. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? I do what I want to do. Why? Because their law of their body is warring against the law of their spirit, but the law of their body is winning. Now with us, the law of the spirit is winning. That's why we are disciplined and we do what we do, because we are saying, no, we ain't gonna follow the law of the flesh. I don't care how good it will feel. I don't care how good it will taste. I don't care how it would look. We're gonna do what the law of the spirit says, because we delight after that. After what? The inward man. Go on.
And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
Read that again, the whole thing. That verse.
23.
Romans 7:23. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin,
Right.
which is in my members.
So the law of sin, the law of his members is trying to pull him into the law of sin by those desires, and that's what manifests in the form of temptation. And the demons, they hop on that. What demons try to do is they try to weaken your body so that you can't fight, you can't resist. They try to get you in ways, because they know what everybody's weak points are, right? That's like if I know your pressure points and I'm purposely hitting your pressure points, you know? That's what the demons try to do. A demon is not going to tempt you. If they really want you, they're not going to tempt you with something that they know that you don't care about, you know? They're going to tempt you with something that they know you care about. That's why we all got different temptations. You know, this brother might go through something that if I went through, I'll breeze through it. But I might go through something that if he went through, he'll breeze through it, because we all have different, you know, points that are more tempting to us, different weaknesses. And the demons play on that to try and drag you under the law of sin. Go ahead.
Oh, wretched man that I am.
So that's why Apostle Paul said, oh wretched man that I am.
That's right, because our righteousness is counted as filthy rags.
That's right.
All right, so the most that you can do is just pray that, you know, the Lord see fit that you was worthy. All right, and 2/3 of y'all fell victim to the laws of sin, man, because y'all let y'all outwardly man control y'all inwardly man.
Right.
Y'all deal with desires y'all don't even consider. The Lord said in Hosea, my people are destroyed through lack of knowledge. All right? So, you know, a lot of our people got to go based upon that whole fact, because it's a small remnant that the Lord is looking for that's going to be the men of the Lord. Who's going to look into the inwardly man and and notice that, you know, the spirit is stronger than flesh, given that the Lord put his hands on you. He put his Holy Spirit on you.
That's right. That's right.
So it's easy for 2/3 to go off, but it's really hard for the men of the Lord to go off.
Yeah, because we fighting. You know, we fighting. So look, it's like if you just standing there, right, and I just push you, you're gonna fall easy. But if I'm standing here ready, you push me, you gonna need to run full speed and spear my ass before I fall. And then when you do that, I'm gonna get my ass right back up. You know? Let's finish on that.
Who shall deliver me from the body of this death?
So as Paul, so even going to show you that the Apostle Paul needed deliverance, right? He said, "Oh wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from what?
From the body of this death."
From the body of this death, which in the book of Jude is also known as what? The chains of darkness. Okay? Go ahead.
I think Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, our Lord, so then with the mind, I myself serve the law of the Most High.
With the what? With the what?
mind.
There you go. With the mind. Okay? So we ain't gonna be perfect in the flesh, but in the mind, in the spirit. That's why what we're doing is we're trying the spirits by the spirits. Go ahead.
But with the flesh, the law of sin.
There you go. Meaning that no matter what, the Apostle Paul understood that no matter what he did, he was going to be subject to sin. But the best that we can do is with our minds, we can serve the Lord. Okay? So that's what's being made perfect right now. Our minds are being made perfect. Okay? And that's why we need grace, because our spirit is willing, but our flesh is weak. So where our flesh falls off, the Lord will cover for us. You may forget and light a fire on the Sabbath, and the Lord will cover for you. You know? Look, there may be certain things where you may not know. Let me give you an example. You may go to a restaurant and you may order no pork. You may tell them, no, I don't want any pork on this. They may bring it to you with no pork. But do you think that they're gonna buy a separate grill and title it no pork grill, and then they're gonna grill your meat on there? No, because somebody else done came over there and said, yeah, give me all the pork and the pork juices and all that you can give me. And they don't use the same grill to do it. And when they get your meat, all they're gonna do is just slap your meat onto the grill and they're gonna do it. You know?
I go to the store to get hero sandwiches, and I asked the deli, the worker that's at the deli that's cutting the meat on the slicer, you know, I'll be like, hey man, I know you've been cutting hella ham on that. Can you please clean the blade off? He look at me like I'm crazy. And he give me an attitude like,
right.
Oh, you want me to clean the plate off, all this and all that? I'm like, yeah, please, bro, I don't eat pork. And I know that you've been slicing pork on that all this time. Yo, man, they're charging me an extra $1 secretly, evilly, just because I asked for that. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, if you pay $6.50 for a hero, you'd be like $7.50.
Right.
Like, no, the prices went up. But it was all because I asked them to clean that plate off. Yep. And they don't want that. And they be so-called Islam who not even supposed to be dealing with pork, but they be up 9, 10 o'clock in the morning cooking that bacon and cutting that ham, and they just looking at it like, yo, you just another 2/3. You just a regular Israelite that we don't care about, and we just gonna put that, we gonna cut your turkey sandwich on some heavily greased up, because you know pork have grease on it, and they'll just cut your damn meat right on that damn grease slicer, man. I mean on that pork slicer. So, you know, they don't give a shit about us, man. They don't even care that the fact that, you know, we trying to keep the laws to the best of our ability, because they wicked themselves, man.
Yeah, of course they're not gonna care. They're heathens. You know, so to us, to them, they're like, why the hell should I care? And I mean, the best you could do is just say, you know what, I'm gonna just go somewhere else. You know, I'll just go to another store or just buy something else altogether. You know, we gotta do things on our part. You know, if I know this guy done, hey, look at that 666, right? License plate. You know, so if we know this guy done slice up pork, and this is a place where they do that a lot. Hey, sometimes you may go to these spots where where the kind of food they serve, they don't really serve like pork and that kind of stuff. You know, if you want to eat lamb or you want to eat chicken, then you buy your own chicken. You know, you try to make it as best you can. You know, in this society, the Lord understands, but that's the part of the fight. Now you got to pay an extra $1, but that's a part of the fight. You know, now you have to take that leap of confidence to tell him, knowing he's gonna give you an attitude, but you still gotta tell him, hey, bro, you clean that up for me real quick. You know, that's a part of the fight. Now you got to hear him talking shit, you know, and hope you don't spit in your food while you're not looking. But you know what? It's all going to be worth it. It's all going to be worth it. Because not only are we going to get their asses in chains, you know, they're going to, hey, it's going to be worth it. But that was it on that? Cool. Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter. And then, Aliyah, you have your copy? Get Wisdom of Solomon, the 9th chapter. Because at the end of the day, like Paul said, through the mind, right? So what does that mean for us? That means that our strongest ability, our strongest member right now is our mind. So we gotta what? We gotta strengthen our mind, and how you do that? With the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. When I say the laws, I mean the whole book. The Spirit of the Lord, you gotta meditate on the right things. You gotta feed your mind the right things to strengthen it, to be able to withstand these things. When you have a strong mind, you're not easily swayed. You're not easily tempted, because a strong mind comes with great discipline. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to be strengthening our minds. Through what? Wisdom. Wisdom is the best food for your mind. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So you can start from the top. Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter.
Wisdom of Solomon 8. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doeth she order all things.
Now, if anybody will know something about wisdom, if anybody will know something about wisdom, it will be Solomon, because the Lord blessed him with a great level, a great deal. So Solomon got very intimate with wisdom, and he's speaking about his experience.
I loved her and sought her out from my youth.
And he likened wisdom onto what? A woman. And if you notice, wisdom really comes mainly to the men. Matter of fact, you get that real quick? You got something? All right, get Proverbs 8. I think it's 8 and 1. No. And also, wisdom of, Job 39 and 17. I haven't brought that precept out in a long time. Yep, that's a good one too. But wisdom is likened unto what? A woman, right? So now let's see who does that woman desire? Go ahead.
This is Proverbs 8 and 1. Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice?
All right, now let's see. Now we know we're talking about wisdom, right? What does the 7th verse say? It should say, "Oh, to you, O men." I think it's that. So, let me see if I can find it. But read again from that verse you just read. From the first verse. I'm not.
Proverbs 8 and 1. Doth not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of high places, by the way in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Unto you, O men, I call.
That's the verse I'm looking for. What verse is that? Verse 4. There you go. Read that again.
Proverbs 8 and 4. Unto you, O men, I call.
Unto you, O men, I call. So who is wisdom first calling to? Men. And how do women gain wisdom? Really through their men. That's why the scriptures say if she will learn anything at all, let her learn at home from her husband. Okay? So it doesn't mean that women don't have wisdom, but the wisdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua first starts with the man. That's why the head of the woman is the man. So now, the bar gets the precept.
Okay, this is Job chapter 39, verse 17. Because Yahweh have deprived her of wisdom.
Of wisdom, go ahead.
Neither have he imparted to her understanding.
Right. So, like I said, it doesn't mean that women do not have wisdom. Okay? But what it means is that the wisdom of Yahweh, the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua start with the man, and then comes down to the woman. So that's why it says, "Unto you, O men, I call," which naturally would seem so, right? Because wisdom is likened unto a feminine spirit, you know. And as Solomon speaks about it, sometimes she's spoken of as a mother, sometimes she's spoken of as a woman, right? That you can get intimate with. When you get intimate with wisdom, you are learning the ways of wisdom. And it even sounds right for a man to get intimate with a woman, which is wisdom. So go ahead. ahead, go on.
Wisdom Wisdom of Solomon, the second verse. Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter, second verse.
He done messed us up.
I loved her and saw her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty.
There you go. I was a love. So now he's speaking about wisdom, but personified as a woman. Go ahead.
And that she is conversant with God. She magnifieth her nobility. Yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her.
Woo! Damn. So this ain't no low class woman. Wisdom is not no. She does not belong to the streets. Okay. She belongs with you in the sheets, metaphorically. Go ahead.
Let's tie that into what y'all going into. Proverbs 3 and 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her.
Now, you got to break that down, right? All the things to be desired. It didn't even say that all the things to be desired are not equal to her. It said are not to be compared. If you look, if somebody tells you, don't even compare me to that dude, that means that this dude ain't even on a level to even match a comparison with me. It doesn't just mean that I'm up here and he's down here. No, it means he ain't even on a level to be compared with me. All right? There's more? Or that's it?
Well, if you jump up to verse 13, it says, happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding.
Why is that? Because now you gotta liken wisdom onto a woman. When a dude, man, when a dude sees a chick and he's real passionate about, and he gets to play, and she, he gets the number or he gets whatever, look at how that dude's energy changes, man. His day, it could be dark as hell, but all he sees is sunlight. You know what I mean? He's walking around in the valley of the shadow of death, and he definitely ain't fearing no evil, because his mind is all about this woman. Now that's how you gotta be with wisdom. When you first come into the truth, you meet wisdom. Now when you first meet wisdom, it's like that chick that you first see at the job really shouldn't be at the job because, whatever, but wherever you see the chick, right? You see this chick and you like, damn, who that? And then, you slowly try to get to know her, but she's not giving you any play. You talking to her, she acting like she's not listening. You look at her, she looks at you, she just breaks the stare and walks away. Like if you're irrelevant, like you don't exist. She wants to see how bad you want her. She's playing all these games with you. She'll come walk past you, walk a certain way, and then if you try to go talk to her, she'll dub your shit and move. That's how wisdom behaves. Matter of fact, you got your Bible, right? Ecclesiasticus. Oh Lord, what is this? Ecclesiasticus, I think the 4th chapter. Check 4 and 6.
Let me give a quick definition of
Yep.
wisdom. It says the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise.
Now you know what they call that? Sagacity. Somebody that's sagacious.
Yes,
All right. That's a word we should be very familiar with, because our forefather Abraham was sagacious. Yes, sir? Yes, sir? Oh. No, let me. No, that's not it. Garwal, read your verse again.
Go.
All right, this is 4 and start at 16.
Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon 3 or 4?
No, you good. Back in Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter. That's where you were at, right? Yeah. Just hold off on that. Let's bring out this precept first. So we were saying what? She gonna play hard to get with you. That's exactly how wisdom behaves when you first meet her, because she doesn't know you. So she's trying to try you and see what kind of individual are you. Are you persistent? But now, unfortunately, in this world, we tell you not to be simps. You don't want to be a simp for a woman, but for wisdom, you're gonna need to do what you got to do. See, because in this world, you see a chick and she try to act like she all that, when she's not. Then go your way. If I'm trying to ask you for the time and you acting like you some hot shit, then you might as well be a pile of hot shit, because I'm going the other way. But when it comes to wisdom, you don't got that. You don't get that. If she act like she the shit, that's because she is the shit. You better chase that. You better chase that thing down. Hunt it down. But go ahead.
This is Ecclesiasticus or the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 16. If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her.
So the only time to be a simp is for wisdom. If you're dealing with a woman, and I'm speaking metaphorically, okay? So read that again.
If a man
Oh, that's again 666 again. Shit. Go ahead. Yeah, it look like the same card too.
if a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her.
Unto who? Unto wisdom, right? You got to commit. So once again, these women, they want you to commit, but the only woman you really should commit to is wisdom. Go ahead.
And his generations shall hold her in possession.
That's right. Because why? You're gonna pass it on down. You know, on down. Now, like I said, it's a. We're speaking metaphorically here. We're not speaking about an actual woman. So you don't got to take it all deep as, oh wait, hold on a second. Solomon is dealing with women with wisdom. You want to deal with wisdom too. Both of y'all dealing with the same woman. That's going. No, you don't got to take it all the way there. All right. Just deal with it. We're here that we're dealing with it. Go one deep, not too deep. Go ahead. Nah, because Jake will come on the common board with some shit like that. Tell me. He said Solomon dealt with wisdom, right? He said he wanted to espouse her, right? What does the word espouse mean? Wife? You said you want a sinful wisdom. You want to deal with wisdom too? What does the scripture say about adultery? Jake will dead ass come on there on some shit like that. Oh, you understand adultery now, right? But you might be the same nigga sneaking around trying to meet another man's woman. You don't understand adultery then? You gotta get a boulder dropped on your ass. You know, as you type in, a boulder just drops. You wondering, wait, I got a roof over my head. Where did the boulder come from? This shit just drops on your ass. Go ahead.
For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways.
Right, so wisdom ain't gonna give you direct access to her right away. That's today they call her easy. She's easy. You just, you say a few words to her and her legs are wide open and there's a fountain coming out on she you know what I mean? She's drowning you and shit. I'm drowning. No, that ain't wisdom ain't gonna do that. Just like a good quality woman is not gonna be easy to get access to. You know? Them legs gonna be tight with a padlock. And you're gonna need to dive under find the lost city of Atlantis to get that key. That chastity belt. But you better find that key. Go ahead.
And bring fear and dread upon him.
Right, so she's gonna bring fear and dread upon you. And that's basically when you come into the truth and you start to gain wisdom, because what is the beginning of wisdom? The fear of the Lord. So when you recognize the Lord and you start to fear him, you get introduced to wisdom. And when you get introduced to wisdom, that's when she's gonna play them games with you when you first start. But you gotta be willing to hold on tight, right? Go ahead. So she's gonna bring fear and dread upon you because of what you're gonna have to go through in order to get her. There's gonna be moments where you're gonna say, wait, I'm doing the right thing. Why am I getting negative results if I'm doing the right thing? Why are people coming against me? You're trying to keep the laws. You fasting on the Sabbath because you don't want to buy anything and stuff. Because when you first come into the truth, you're now getting introduced. So it's not going to be playing onto you. Go ahead. You over righteous. You overzealous. Go on.
And torment him with her discipline.
Right, with her discipline. You have some wisdom too. Torment him with her discipline, because you're gonna come in and you like, damn, I gotta do this, I can't do this, I can't get lineups, I can't eat pork, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. It's new to you. See, brothers who've been in this longer they're used to it because they've been doing it for years. But when you first come in, you're like, oh shit, and I can't do that, and I can't do this. That's a part of the discipline that you get tormented with. But go on.
Until she may trust his soul.
Until she may trust his soul. So she knows that, you know what? This guy, even with all this discipline and torment I'm bringing upon him, I hope it's not about to come down. Yeah. If it is, we might need to move under one of over there. Yeah. But yeah, so damn, this guy, where's Elijah at? We need to hold the rein. Oh Lord, you're teaching your word. So it says, right, she gonna torment him, right? And then when she may trust his soul. So when she finds out that you a solid man and you're truly here to serve the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, go ahead.
and try him by her laws.
and try him by her laws, go ahead.
Then will she return the straight way unto him.
So that's when she's gonna open up them secrets onto you. That's when you're gonna get the key to unlock the chastity belt, and voila. Go ahead.
And comfort him
And comfort him. Go ahead.
and show him her secrets.
So now you're like, damn, this girl's playing hard to get this whole time. Not, you know, sometimes there's women that are like, they're like onions. They got so many defense layers, You can break them, but it's gonna take you a long time. You're gonna need time, attention, communication. You gotta keep on talking to her. She gotta get used to you. You gotta be patient with her. You may ask her out and she may dub you like 20 times, but the more you keep talking to her, the more you know she gets comfortable around you. Eventually she'll say yeah. And then you gotta go through the next onion layer before you know you get a nice hug or whatever. That's what wisdom is doing, because she knows that once she opens up to you, she's gonna be super attached. She gonna give you everything. So she don't want to just open up to a regular dude. Well, that's how wisdom is. There's so many secrets that get unleashed when you finally get access to wisdom. So it makes the fight worth it. Go on.
But if you go wrong, she will forsake him.
Woo! The second you take that wrong step, that's it. You're done. You ain't getting it no more. That's like if you talking to a chick and this chick was playing all these different games with you, and you finally get her to finally open up to you, and she catches you trying to deal with another chick. My man, you know what I'm saying? You just hit the undo button times a million. She gonna take it back to the way she was before on steroids. Don't even try to talk to her then. What?
And give him over to his own ruin.
Give him over to his own ruin. So dealing with wisdom, the second when you make that wrong step, you show wisdom, oh, you don't appreciate me. Cool. Now you go do your own thing. You out of here. You ain't getting the knowledge of the Lord. And what's gonna happen? No, you good.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys were video or something, sorry.
No, you're okay. You're fine. Yeah, I'm just going into the Bible, that's all. So she go so wisdom gonna tell you now, go do your own thing. You know? And it's a lot, yeah. Hey, but she was humble about it, man. So that's cool. She gonna tell you go do your own thing. So that's what happens eventually. People what? They fall out the right path, they fall out the spirit, they fall out the truth, they lose the wisdom, and then they lose more than they had before. Because this person, when you fall out the truth and the Lord takes his spirit from you, you end up worse than you were before you came into the truth.
I believe there's a scripture that says it's better to have not been in the truth at all.
Yep. Better to not have tasted of the riches than to have tasted it and then go back like a dog to his vomit. You know, you're done. You're gonna be worse. That's why dudes end up getting bugged out. They end up in the worst state than they started, because wisdom says, "All right, you do you." But that's good on that, because that's gonna keep on going. Let's go back to where we at.
Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter, verse 4. For she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of Yahweh.
Right, so wisdom knows the mysteries of the knowledge of Yahweh. So if you want to get access to those mysteries, you're going to need to deal with wisdom. You're going to need wisdom. Go on.
And a lover of his works.
Mm-hmm.
If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things?
There you go. So people work for gold, they work for silver, they work for money, right? And if those are worthy to be, a possession, you want to own those, how much more for wisdom? Gold will get you somewhere, but wisdom will get you everywhere. Go on.
And if prudence work, who of all that is a more cunning workman than she?
Right. So if riches are to be desired, what more to be desired than wisdom? And if prudence is a form of work, who's more hardworking than wisdom? Go on.
And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude.
Right. Temperance, having that being temperate, being self-controlled, being balanced, Let this thing pass. right? Looking into your going, being alert, you know, being diligent, looking into things, right? What is it? Justice, having balance, you know, being able to judge appropriately, correctly, like King Solomon. Go ahead. What was the other part?
And fortitude.
Yep. Keep going.
Which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come.
Yeah. So she knows things of old and conjecture, being able to put it together, all right, the things to come, which are what? Prophecies. So if you want to, you know, you can gain experience, of course. The experience is gained through experience, going through it, but we're able to learn from the experiences of the past, and we're able to know what's going to happen in the future through wisdom. Go ahead.
She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and can expound dark sentences.
Yeah. So with wisdom, you're going to be able to understand subtle speech. If somebody, a dark sentence, like some of the scriptures are written in dark sayings. With wisdom, you're going to be able to understand them properly and break them down and know what does this mean. When it says that the 7 days, it took the Lord 6 days for creation and he rested in the seventh day. Well, how long is that? What does that mean? You know, all of these things through wisdom you get access to. That's why wisdom is the fear of the Lord is wisdom, the beginning. Go ahead.
She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times. Therefore I purpose to take her to me to live with me.
Yeah, so once King Solomon realized the value of wisdom, he said, yeah, I want to take her. I want her to live with me. You know? Go ahead.
Knowing that she would be a counselor of good things, and a comfort in cares and grief. For her sake I shall have estimation among the multitude.
Yeah, so for wisdom's sake, he will be esteemed among many. Go ahead.
And honor with the elders,
And
though
honor, go ahead.
though I be young.
Right, and honor with the elders, though I be young. Because you got to think about it, right? You got elders who have experience, you know? So they've gained great knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in their walk, you know? But now, like King Solomon said, he would have, read that part again.
I shall have estimation among the multitude, and honor with the elders, though I be young.
Right, and honor with the elders, though I be young, because as a young individual, there's certain behavior that's normal, you know, but you have certain individuals who, when blessed with wisdom, they're young, but they don't act young, you know, they don't move young. So you may be around them and you may forget that this person is a young individual, you know, because they know how to move. Go ahead.
I shall be found of a quick conceit and judgment.
Meaning that in judgment, he's going to be able to think quickly, you know, and provide good solutions, good answers. Go ahead.
And shall be admired in the sight of great men.
Yeah, in the sight of great men, because they're going to look at you like you're great because of wisdom.
When I hold my tongue, they shall bide my leisure.
Right, when they shall bid my leisure when I hold my tongue. Meaning that when you're not talking, they're gonna wait upon you and see when you're free, so they can converse with you. Go on.
And when I speak, they shall give good ear unto me.
Yeah, and when you speak, see, you got individuals who, when they talk, it's kind of like, yeah. And then you got individuals who, when they talk, you want to listen. You know? You don't want to overtalk them. If you talk and you hold your peace, you want to listen to what they got to say, because you know that they're going to say something good, something reasonable. You know? Go ahead.
If I talk much, they shall lay their hands upon their mouth.
There you go. They're going to be quiet and they're going to be listening. It's like when you're around the elders, you know, or elder brothers or bishops, and they're speaking and they're going into things. We like that, because there's more you can gain from listening. That's why you got 2 ears than you can from talking. What's really going to happen now? The Spirit may hit you with something good, but if you're younger, what are you really going to say that's going to be so mesmerizing that everybody's, oh my God, wow, you know? You're going to be quiet and you're going to listen. So as Solomon is saying, that's the level wisdom puts you on. That when you speak, people are quiet and they listen, because you're speaking wisdom. You're speaking good quality information. You're bringing out food that's good for the mind. Good food for thought. Yeah, you good, you good. You know, and that's why. So these are part of the things that you hear about wisdom, and you like, well, hell yeah, I wanna grab a piece of that. I don't want a piece. I want the, you know what I mean? You wanna get acquainted with wisdom. You got it, bro.
Here's the dark side of wisdom. Ecclesiastes 9, verse 14. There was a little city, a few men within it, and there came a great king against it, and besieged it, and built great bulwarks against it. Now there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city, yet no man remembered that same poor man. Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. The words of wise men are heard in quiet, more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools.
There you go.
Wisdom is better than weapons of war. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good.
Now, it's very, now you see, the point is that, you know how they have the saying, real recognize real. So wisdom is recognized amongst those that are wise enough to perceive it, right? We esteem certain men, you know, and respect them based on the, you know, the experience and the wisdom that they have and they show forth. That's because we've been blessed to understand that what they're bringing forth is actually wisdom. Now, the way you may esteem one man in the truth is not how somebody in the world is going to esteem them, because the world doesn't. It's like that's why the Lord said, don't cast your pearl to swine, because the pearl is still a pearl, but to the swine it's just a pearl. It's just a ball. It's whatever. What the hell is this? But to somebody that knows the value of it, this is like, oh, yo, you got to take good care of that, right? So that's the same thing. When you have somebody bringing forth wisdom, right? The poor man's wisdom. Only those that are wise will esteem the poor man. But those that don't have the wisdom to understand wisdom are gonna just, yeah, whatever. He just saying what he's gonna say. That's why the world doesn't look at us like you know, like we're these high men, because what? The Lord has blinded their eyes. You know?
Yeah, for example, I know you probably heard this before, like somebody will be a coach at a specific so like say he's a coach for basketball or something, and people will look at him like, yo, you're not that good because you don't play in the NBA. So what can I learn from you if you didn't reach that height? But yet he can be teaching a team of people that are going to go to that league to be the greatest,
Right.
because of his wisdom, but it's despised because of his level of success.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't learn from that person. You know, people are like, older people always tell you just based off your age, oh, what can you teach me? I already been here, I did all of this shit before. So they can't learn nothing from you. Because they're older than you. People make it about any damn thing. It's not just when you're poor.
Yeah, good. Yep. But that's the thing though, you know, it's like the scriptures say that you gotta always, yeah, you know, we all have different years and experience and all of that, but you gotta, that's why the Lord said you gotta be as a child. You gotta be always willing to learn. Because you can learn something new from anybody. Something that you didn't know before. You know? So when you come across that, if you may be older, but if you can recognize that what this young man or what this individual is saying has a good point, you know what, you know, that's a good point, you know. But hey, not everybody has been given the mind to recognize wisdom. Wisdom recognizes wisdom, just like real recognizes real.
You see, America been around longer than the truth that was revealed to us as Israelites in today's time. Maybe 100 or some odd years older, but we started to get this truth from the elders from the 60s and 70s.
Right.
But they recognize that we have the truth, and they try to suppress it. And they are elders considering us being in this land since the time that they put us in. But the rest of the world don't recognize it. But the rest of the world ignores this truth. You know, we get thousands of bystanders who walk past us each Saturday and they ignore it. But the elite, they'll stroll by slow and look and they'll see what we got going, just like the yeah. And they'll be like, uh-oh, this truth is surfacing. And it's troubling to them, but you know, it's good news to us to know that, you know, the Lord blessed us with that secret, that truth, to reveal His truth to all our people, bring it out right now. So wisdom is not given to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Common sense is not common.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? But that's because a lot of people that walk by, they're liking onto the swine in Yahweh Shai's example. What we're giving out is pearls, but they're not stopping because they don't recognize that it's a pearl. But somebody that does recognize that it's a pearl, they'll stop. And they'll say, yo, damn. And now you're going to have one kind who stops and says, yo, this is good stuff. And another who stops and says, how the hell did you get that? How the hell did you get that? You know, that's too valuable to be in your hands. You know? But that's okay, because the Most High gave it to us through His men. Got it?
Wisdom of Solomon 8, verse 13. Moreover, by the means of her, I shall obtain immortality.
Woo!
And leave
by the means of her, I shall obtain immortality. So we have the wisdom now, and by this means, Lord willing, if we're of the elect, we will obtain immortality. Go ahead.
And leave behind me an everlasting memorial to them that come after me.
Go on.
I shall set the people in order, and the nations shall subject unto me.
Which ultimately what's going to happen? When the Lord comes back, those that are found with wisdom, which are going to be the elect, they're going to be raised up. And they're going to have power. The Lord said, he that endureth unto the end, will I give power over the nations? Go ahead.
Horrible tyrants shall be afraid when they do but hear of me. I shall be found good among the multitude and valiant in war.
Which that was true, because why did the Queen of Sheba come up there to see Solomon? Because she heard about all the wisdom and the great feats that he accomplished through the wisdom. And she brought all these gifts and all of that.
After I am come into mine house, I will repose myself with her, for her conversation hath no bitterness, and to live with her hath no sorrow, but mirth and joy.
There you go.
Now when I consider these things in myself, and ponder them in my heart, how that to be allied unto wisdom is immortality. And great pleasure it is to have her friendship, and in the works of her hands are infinite riches, and in the exercise of conference with her, prudence, and in talking with her, a good report. I went about seeking how to take her to me.
So when King Solomon realized, right, that the value of wisdom, what did he do? He said, I went about seeking how to take her to me. I want that. I desire wisdom. Go ahead.
For I was a witty child, and had a good spirit. Yea, rather being good, I came into it a body undefiled.
Yeah, so because he had a good spirit, when he came on the earth, the Lord blessed him with a body that was undefiled. You know? Because see, like the Apostle Paul said, when you do bad things in this body, when you go to the spirit world, you get a judgment. And the Lord might say, all right, the next time you come on the earth, I'm gonna bring you in a body that your legs ain't gonna work after you turn 7 years old, you know, or you're gonna be born blind, you know, or you might have a mental disability. But King Solomon didn't have any of that. Go on.
Nevertheless, when I perceived that I could not otherwise obtain her, except Yahweh gave her me, and that was a point of wisdom also to know whose gift she was.
There you go. So he perceived the only way I could get this wisdom is through the Lord. And the fact that I'm able to even acknowledge that is the Lord who gives wisdom is wisdom. Go on. Was that it on chapter 9? Chapter 8?
No, that's another one.
All right, go ahead.
I prayed unto the Lord and besought him, and with my whole heart I said, and it continues on.
Cool. So pause over there right now. What's that scripture? I think it's in James. Is it James 4:1? Rock shall see if it's in there. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High. So Solomon recognized that the only way to gain what his desire was, which was wisdom, was to pray to the Lord. So what does that mean? When look, if you want to grow in the spirit, you want to gain more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you want to elevate, you got to pray to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Prayer works, man. You know, prayer works. You got to pray to the Lord, you got to believe it, have faith, and then start working towards it. Whatever you pray to the Lord for, start working towards it. And the Lord is going to help those who help themselves. And you start helping yourself by recognizing that you gotta pray. You know, don't just well, you know, this is how I feel. This is where I find myself. Okay, but where are you? Are you gonna be in the same spot for the next 2 years? You know, the Lord might not fault you for being weak, but He definitely will fault you for staying weak. Because then what's your excuse? You may start off at a certain point, but if I come back and you at the same point, then that's your fault. Because what are you doing? Clearly you're not doing anything to try and level up. And if you're doing something and it's not working, then you gotta change up what you're doing. You gotta try something else. Is that it? If any man lack wisdom? What? 1 and 5? All right, so you can bring it up.
This is James 1 and 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High.
So what did King Solomon do? He realized, the way to, so the Lord blessed Solomon with wisdom to realize that he had to ask the Lord for wisdom, right? So he said, you know what? I really desire, man, I need that wisdom. I need that. So, all right, cool. Now that I know that this is what I want, how am I supposed to get it? There's clearly no other way but from the Most High. So what did he do? He prayed to the Lord, just like it says here. Read that again.
James 1 and 5. If any of you lack wisdom,
if any of you lack wisdom, when you lack wisdom, you don't have the wisdom that you want or that you need. Go ahead.
let him ask of the Most High.
Let him ask of the Most High. How do you ask of the Most High? Through prayer. Go ahead.
That giveth to all men liberally.
That giveth to all men liberally. Go on.
And upbraideth not.
And upbraideth not. He ain't gonna curse you out because you asking for wisdom. Go on.
And it shall be given to him.
And it shall be given to him. Because the Lord said, anything you ask in my name, ye shall receive. But then James also goes and says that ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may devour it upon your lust. So when the Lord said anything you're going to ask, you'll receive in his name, meaning anything that's within the will of the Lord, that's appropriate. If you ask for more faith, the Lord is going to bless you with more faith. If you ask for another man's woman, the Lord might strike you with a thunderbolt, a lightning bolt, whatever. You know? Because now what the hell are you asking for? So when it says anything you ask for, like it's just like saying all things are lawful for me to eat. Yeah, all things are lawful for me to eat within the lawful foods. So that was it on that? Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 6, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering.
Nothing wavering. So why is that? Because when you go to the Lord, you got to believe that the Lord has wisdom and he's able to give it to you. So don't go to the Lord all shaky. Why are you shaky? Do you not want the wisdom, or do you not believe the Lord can give it to you? If you want the wisdom and you know the Lord can give it to you, then go there with confidence. Ask the Lord, Lord, this is where I find myself, this is where I am. This is not where I want to be though. I want to be on a much higher level. I want to grow. I want to elevate. I want to learn. You know, I want to understand these scriptures. I want to teach a word with confidence. I'm tired of getting rebuked. You know, I'm tired of being on the low level. I want to grow. So you go to the Lord, you pray, you beseech the Lord humbly, you beg him for his wisdom, you beg him for a greater portion in the spirit, and then you show him that you're willing to put in the work, right? Because with great power comes great responsibility. And as it says, the Lord is going to grant you your request. Go ahead. Yeah, it looks like it's coming.
For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed.
Yeah, we might need to wrap it up with this one. Yep. Hey, so with that, Lord willing, you've been edified, you know, until next time, you know, shalom. We'll catch you on the next time. Shalom.